a management consultant, skills enhancement strategist, and published author. She is the CEO of Thistle Praxis, and basically, we're going to be talking about building the Nigerian company of the future. And I'm talking about Ini Abimbola. Good morning.
Good morning
Good
to
morning.
you.
Good
Thank
morning.
you
Good
for
morning.
having me.
Yes, 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 yes. Awesome having you in the studio. It's been before we got on air. I was just saying it's been a long time. It's been last time we saw was maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago. 4 years
Yeah,
ago.
4 years ago.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Chai.
But we chat as if we see every day.
Shit.
That's the thing with social
Yeah,
media.
yeah. It's blessed. It keeps people in touch. All right. So we're talking about businesses and building Nigerian business of the future. But let's go back into the past. So there are things I noticed about the Nigerian context of I try to follow businesses and some of their stories. So there are a few successful Nigerians that I've read about their, they probably have one interview with one magazine or something and they try to tell their story. And in telling their story, it doesn't make any head or tail. You're trying to put together, okay, so what exactly, how? Is it that you invested in this? But, there's always that, oh, I just was hardworking and, God just did it. And then you want to think about the fact that, businesses that I grew up around. I mean, I wore Bata for a long time. I don't. Bata used to be in every community in Lagos. There was no Leonard's shoes. Every school. In fact, it was so much at
There
that
was
time
the
that
Cortina shoe that
Cortina
was
shoe.
sold by Bata.
There were schools that was all you
Yeah,
could wear. If
yeah,
you didn't wear
yeah.
Cortina, don't come to
Well, we
school.
wore Cortina.
You
So
know, if you remember, it had this kind of catfish head
nice,
with
holes
holes
on
in them.
it.
Yeah,
And they lasted forever.
yeah. Oh,
Ah,
wow.
lasted forever.
And the shops were beautiful. Then there was a Leventis where the supermarkets that you go into. There was Terry's Burger. They had this burger that had this spicy burger that was unique to Lagos. Eddie King Burger. We're talking. I mean, Eja Daddy, Express Fisheries. Where are
Apostle
they?
behind.
And those were the big companies of the 80s, 80s into the 90s. And all of a sudden, one after the other, they dropped out, dropped out, dropped out. And so much so that I'm not sure there's any business really outside maybe some of the banks. And it's even still questionable, because we can't
So much has
totally,
happened.
So how do we I'm trying to put my words because it's frustrating sometimes. Where are we in that shift process of coming from where we used to be to where we are now? Okay, let's even start from why exactly did those businesses not succeed? Because you would think that they were making a lot of revenue. I remember how Leventis used to be full. Terry's Burger, I remember the one inside 1004. You had to queue. It was so frustrating, and we would queue very comfortably. I remember Samco, the milk. I don't know what happened to them. They used to bring it to school. There was a Suko. I'm now doing too much. I'm overdoing it now, right? Right? Yeah, I'm overdoing it. Okay, so, but why exactly did those businesses not just stand the test of time? Because I'm not sure anybody starts a business saying, okay, this business I'm going to be successful for 5 years and I'm going to go broke
Yeah.
in the next 3-4 years after that.
I think that if we look at to take back, and this is all the examples you give, some of the examples that I use as case studies when I'm teaching sustainability or taking a group of management staff or staff of businesses that we work with through looking at what sustainability is. Sustainability is really about being competitive. And so if you look at most of those businesses, were they competitive? Now, it's not about making revenue. So you can make all the revenue, you can just, but how competitive are you in the market space?
Exactly.
So if you take Bata or Cortina, for example, at some point they were doing so well, but also remember that some of the main raw materials were being imported. And then, of course, we now had the indigenization policy that came on board, which also made a lot of issues because then we didn't even think about the business or our economy or our country. We only thought about who was going to be on it, what was going to be the person's gain,
True.
and stuff like that. And then before you knew it, the Nigerianness took over some of those businesses. And I think it's the same thing. So you look at businesses like Onward Paper Mill and all of that. Where are they today? What happened? So I talk about, the competitiveness.
Yes, Onward.
Yes. The competitiveness of the business, and competitiveness is about cash flow. It's about the fact that the business environment is tolerable. If you look at how businesses are surviving, I think that most businesses are really in survival mode now.
True.
The economy
True.
isn't good. The operating environment is horrible. So I remember, having my office on the island, and I had to relocate because the area where we are, when you resume work at 8 a.m., the light goes off. You run diesel till 6 p.m. in the evening.
And you're
every
thinking to
single
yourself
day.
that this is not
so
sustainable.
your operating cost goes up.
Yeah.
Business isn't coming in to
As-
fit in that
That's
operating cost.
yeah.
There's no way it's not going to run down. So at some point, the sustainability of a business, particularly businesses in Nigeria, it's a different ballgame entirely. So when you're teaching sustainability in South Africa or in America,
It's
it's
slightly different.
if you come to Nigeria, you have to rework it because
I'm
there's so
telling
many
you.
other variables.
But
that
where are
involved.
we in that process, in that growth process, coming back from understanding? Because now business customers are beginning to, demand for better service. Then we just expected the service providers to give us good quality. I can't remember anybody going into a barter shop and checking, is this real, is this fake? We just trusted these guys, and it built us into this kind of society that we don't question the people we buy things from. We don't question if it is good. We don't question service. But where are we right now in that place of going from businesses that just die in every generation or in every 10, 20 years to the businesses that, are going to last a lifetime?
I think a lot goes into it because if you still see it, so I don't want to mention names, but there are quite a number of businesses that you've seen that started out very well, particularly in the e-commerce sector, and then right now some had to collapse and some had to be bought into others as well. So there's still those sectors that are up and running, and we have hope. But there's always something wrong, and then it's so at the end of the day is the environment. And I think you said something at the beginning where you see business leaders talk about their successes. It's something that has been in my mind for years because I deal with a lot of startup businesses. I have quite a number of mentees or proteges, and I work with a lot of businesses. And when I get in there as a consultant and do a gap analysis. So you want me to come and do a strategy. I have to do a gap analysis. What exactly is the problem?
Yeah.
Why do you need a strategy? And then I see the internal issues. And then I'm sitting back and I'm saying, but you never say this. you know, and I think that's the problem where a lot of people are leaving their jobs and jumping into entrepreneurship. Oh, I want to be the boss of myself. I want to do my own business. I want to run my own thing. Because the people who should say to you, look, if you have your head screwed on tight, you should think about it again. Because it is not going to be easy. I borrowed money and I couldn't pay for donkey years. I lost the business. I had to start all over again. It wasn't even easy starting all over again.
Nobody even tells you those things. Nobody says I'm owing money.
I squatted when I started my business. I squatted in someone's office for 3 years before I could even afford to get an office. Nobody tells you those stories. Nobody tells you that. It took us, okay, so maybe we prospected and had this fantastic business idea or business plan that everything looked very good. The feasibility studies were fantastic. We did an environmental impact assessment, every story that you want to think about. But when we went in there, the reality of what we met on ground, vis-a-vis the business plan, vis-a-vis all our projections, fell flat. Nobody is going to tell you that.
Nobody.
And that's the problem that I
Nobody.
have. And that's one of the things that's propelling me to do something new. Because we need to talk about it. Because
we need to talk
when
about
you talk
it.
about the sustainability of businesses, this is one of the key issues. If you don't talk about where those things didn't work, then we don't know where to plug them.
Boom.
Is it with the banks? Is it with the policies of government? Is it with the environment itself? You said about, not questioning or not asking, demanding certain things. It comes from knowing that even if you demand,
it won't come.
so an airline keeps you waiting at an airport and they think that it is just okay. And Nigerians are not going to ask because the next thing will be, let me just get to where I'm going. They can be doing their own thing. So it's just a continuum, and it can be quite
It can
exhausting.
be quite frustrating. I do know that. I mean, the business environment in Nigeria, nobody tells you the truth. Nobody tells you that it's, because I keep saying this, that I grew up on maybe I came into adulthood on a lot of foreign books, the Zig Ziglars and those books. And, when I started to fail in entrepreneurship, it became very frustrating because I felt I've applied everything. It's not working. Why is it not working?
Because it was just motivation. Nobody was actually telling you
And
the truth.
I remember listening to I'm not sure if I told you this. I listened to one of yours. You spoke at one of the Wimby's events, and I listened to the tape. And so honestly, I can remember shedding a few tears on that day because I've never met anybody speak so openly about the process, which of course is one of the things we don't talk about in Nigeria. And it was the first time that I realized that wait, there is a process. It exists. It doesn't, intelligence doesn't negate you from the process. It doesn't say, okay, oh, I'm intelligent. Because I honestly thought that once you are intelligent,
everything falls in place.
You have, so everybody that was struggling in my mind, I was like, just become intelligent.
And unfortunately, we're passing on that information to the younger generation. We're passing it on to our children. You have to pass your book. You have to read your books. You have to pass in school. And that everything will just be fine. No, it is not going to be fine. There's a process. And particularly in business, I think that I have an issue with the business community, and I always challenge. So what I look for, it's very few people want to talk about it. They are not the ones you see every day. They're not the ones that are in your face giving us all the motivation and inspirational,
true.
Blah blah blah. They are the ones that have gone through the process and are willing to tell you, look, I'm not here to motivate you. I'm here to tell you.
In fact,
I'm here to disappoint you very greatly. That it is not going to be nice and easy. It's not about business class. I remember once, the business picked up after about 4 years, and I think I just had this, oh wow, 4 years. Let me just relax more. And in a period of 3 months, I'm going to Abuja. I fly business class. After 3 months, I was like, No. Back to economy. And myself, so when they want to buy tickets, and it's like, we bought business class. I said, B, you will pay for the balance, return it. And everybody was like, okay. Now, within my business, they will tell you, even though we joke about it, that she's a Koi Jebu woman. And I said, don't worry, when we make money, he said, ma, we know you. Even if we make all the money. I said, because you see, sustainability is about being
it's about, exactly.
If you must keep this business running for the next,
you have to
must be competitive.
Keep the practices going.
And it's about internal control, your eyes on the money. What are we spending on? It's not about looking nice. It's about drilling down and making sure that the business, because you find out that most of the businesses that fell apart, there was a lot of
low spending.
Not even the low spending, but the look and feel. We like the look and feel. So everything is looking beautiful. You know what I mean?
AC,
chill, new cars. Branded cars. All the place, everything looking fly. The CEO riding as the car is coming out. They are riding it, type of thing, and then the business is going under. And I think that when you talk about sustainability, it's always looking about the internal controls.
So one of the things, and I've seen this with a lot of some of our colleagues from some of the Asian countries. Now, I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be, say anything negative, but I think it's actually a positive that Nigerian companies need to follow. So some of the Asian companies, you go to their offices and it's very bare. It's almost, you almost wonder, is this where all that money is coming out from?
I'm telling you.
And, but they understand lean processes so much especially when they're dealing with low margin businesses. They know how to keep their margins low and the businesses are always profitable.
And even so if you take an investors, I always say to people that I'm a researcher. I'm always interested in knowing and just understanding how certain things work. And even where the margins are high, they still maintain very low. So I went for a meeting in Singapore, and First of all, I got off the airport and I actually started crying. That,
Yeah, wow.
Shebi, this is airport. Not your law. This is airport.
Don't worry,
So
don't
we
worry.
got off- we got off
We're
from
working on
there.
our national
I got
career.
in, and then there wasn't all the frills and trills. So I've done quite a bit of,
Yeah.
bringing international high level people
Into the country.
ex-presidents and all of that. And I know the frill and trill
Yeah,
that I put
the
into it.
big cars.
There was no
everything.
frill and trill. I was
Say
sitting
welcome.
on the board of the World Entrepreneurship Forum. There was no frill and trill, and I was vexing within me like, what's wrong with these people? Don't they know? And I just remember that this is the typical Nigerian mentality.
Yeah.
You don't know who I am, so at the airport, the cars should line up. There should be a convoy and all of that. And we got to where we're having the meetings for the next 5 days. And when I saw those people's books, there's not there's what is 0.0000000 raised to power 100.1, or it has not. My profit hasn't even gotten there. These are people that are making billions of dollars,
But they still keep their margins low.
their operating margins very low, operating expenses very low. And that's when you can say that you're in business.
I was
for a
listening
long time.
to a Nigerian CEO, bank CEO, saying something one time, and he was trying to say this kind of thing to us about that Nigeria would just have this thing of carrying ourselves. He said he was it was in the U.S. going from one state to another, so he was taking a plane and he was first class, and he was in that plane like don't you know me, Nigerian CEO.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see my suit? And then he sat down, and then there was this guy that was, trying to put something in his overhead bin. And he was like, who is this person pushing me? And he looks up and he sees Bill Gates.
Carrying his own bag, far.
Do you get?
Yells.
He said he was humbled immediately. Because he was thinking to himself that, first of all, if I have Bill Gates' money, why will I be flying plane, even if it's first class?
Exactly. Why don't
First
I
of all, I'll
like
have
two
my own
PJs?
airline.
No, one going forward.
I
one
won't coming
following.
back. What bringing the clothes at the back? Like, he kind of thought to himself, but throughout the flight, he started asking himself,
What do you
should
think
I
you're
be
doing?
in this first class first of all?
No, I think that honestly, so when I talk about sustainability, these are the issues. The internal controls. And it's even worse when you're not even making the money.
Do you know? And
You're
that
not
is
making the money, but you still want to keep appearances that everything is fine. No, cut back, as in serious cut back. Everything has to go. I remember once in my office that for a couple of months, our income was really bad. And I was looking if it was possible to cut even anything I was cutting. I cut up to even seaway water. The
Wow.
number of seaway water that was bought every month.
you guys
cut-
just can't be drinking water
no,
anyhow.
buy your own. I cut even up to what is the beverages for staff. I said, look, can we get off this thing for a few months and see how it goes, and let's get back on our feet. Of course, it doesn't come nice, but you let staff understand that this is what, and I operate a very open business, so staff consistently know what we are making. That this is what is coming in, and we must keep our operating costs low. Sustainability is about ensuring that there are internal controls, and that's how businesses. So look at
Of
the
course.
Coca-Colas of this world. What are they doing?
That has made them be
Right.
able to stand the test of time, going
Exactly.
over years and
And I think that there are quite a number of lessons that can be learned. And we
From
must
that.
understand that business is going, the world is going a different way. Now we're talking about artificial intelligence. Very soon, it's going to be much more than what it is.
It's at this
And-
particular
and
point.
we
The
may
game
be
is going to
s-
change very
We
soon.
may be slow in Nigeria catching up, but it will definitely catch
Yeah,
up with us
yeah.
at some point.
I saw something on your Twitter, no, sorry, not Twitter, Instagram account.
Yeah.
That time I failed,
Yeah.
and it's one of the things I'm actually excited about because I realized I think I wrote a small piece for Bella Nigeria one time, and I was talking about I was saying entrepreneurs
Yes.
take
I thought that
this too
that
shall
went
pass.
viral, actually.
Yeah, for me, the thought was, hey, because the thing is that I actually felt, I just wanted to open up, but I realized that there were so many people at that phase.
Yes. Yes.
People saying thank you very much for
Yes,
this, as
yes.
in somebody even said something like, oh, that the debtors that I'm owing money just called some few minutes ago. That thank you that I'm glad to read it. You get it? I was thinking, but nobody talks about this. It's in the seminars. It's always about just get out there your business plan. If you have it, just write it out. And I'm thinking, I'm not even sure any bank asks you for a business plan when you go there to ask for money, because they realize that business plans are a dime a dozen. So that time I failed. What exactly is that about, and how can people take advantage of it? Because
I mean, it's what you're talking about. So that time I failed, and I said it's been on my mind for 2 years plus now, exactly 2 years plus, and it comes from, working in organizations, working with clients, and working with small business owners, mentoring a few businesses, and finding out that people are scared of failing. People are scared of starting a business and it didn't work. And then they're like, I can never tell anybody this thing didn't work. So right on Instagram, the Instagram page is still on, but there's no goods in the store. Wow. And in fact, there is no store.
So they're supposed to put pictures.
So they started with a store, but they can't have money to buy. I'm telling you, small businesses now.
Wow.
And the business has failed. And then there's this idea of, I can't afford to say I failed.
And
where did this come from? So I started doing the research. It came from all the seminars, all this inspirational quotes, all this. And I don't know if you follow
I'm actually out to catch all of you inspirational people. I will start calling out all of you, because Big Sis, there's one that actually upset me. The young lady told me that she paid somebody 50,000 for 1 hour to speak to her about how, to give her direction. And actually, this person just sat down with me and we're talking, and I was just sharing some of my stuff, some stuff from my life, and she was like, "Thank you very much." And I was like, "I wasn't telling you anything." She was like, "That I paid somebody 50,000 just because I wanted to hear something like this, and the person didn't even give me anything." Yeah. And I'm like, "Who is the person? I want to call the."
So
she refused to tell me his name.
There was a time I put on my page, and I said, "You know what? People should stop DMing me for free advice. I'm not doing it again. I mean, I'm collecting money now."
Do you get?
Because I find out that they come to me, "Oh, please, I want to see you." I'm like, "Okay, I'll find time in my schedule.
Yeah.
I can give you 1 hour." And they come to my office, and I'm spending 3 hours walking through a business and saying, "Why are you doing this? Okay, can you walk through this? Can you go back and do this?" And you go back and do this. And they come back. Unfortunately, for one of them, came back and told me that she actually paid someone 2 million naira. 2 million naira, and I went berserk. And I'm like, I'm not doing it again.
I'm not doing it again. And you came here, you didn't even buy Mr. Victor.
So for me, it's about talking about failure. We need to talk about failure. And we're looking for Nigerians who have been successful. But successful in a way that you can say to us, "Look, I got a bank loan. And for whatever reason, it just didn't work out. It failed. I was owing the bank. They came after me. Somehow I survived it. I was able to find my way up. Tell us the process." Yes, God did it, but how did God do it?
This God is named magician.
How did God do it? Did he use somebody? Did you have to borrow again? Did you have to sell your house? Did you not have a payment plan? Did some people give you money that you didn't have to pay double digit interest? Or did a franchise just walk in and decided that, "Wow, you're so beautiful and we think you can do this thing"? I don't know.
How?
But tell us the process. Because until we begin to tell young people that there is a process to success, we're still going to have this thing about I want to blow, type of thing. And then we're going to have this thing that it is about the show. I don't know if you remembered something. I like to follow a lot of things. Like I said, I scroll a lot, where a celebrity was attacked about driving an old car. It comes from part of this. People are because the people they see around are showing off that everything is fine. And not saying that look,
there are issues.
There are issues, and we know every single day I'm dealing with these issues. I'm trying to get out of these issues. So that time I failed is that platform to talk about it, and we're looking for people who are willing to share and say, "Look, there is a process, and I'm willing to tell you that this is the process I went through, and this is how I did it, and these are the changes that I had to do to be able to get to where I am."
There's so much to talk about. And little time, City of Lagos. I knew it was going to be explosive. Every time I have her on a show, she's always very passionate about what she speaks about. And basically, I mean, if you're not following her, please do follow her. Ania Bims on Twitter, on Facebook. Please go and follow her. She's very passionate about sustainability, about businesses growing in the future. I've followed her for many years, a lot more. I've stalked herself. That's even I can say it. I can say it openly now. Then it used to look creepy, but now I think I can say it openly. Yes, I've stalked her for many years because actually, I mean, it was especially when those days when I was struggling a lot. It was very important for me to find people who were saying the truth, especially when I realized that a lot of deception was out there. So, and I think. I just, the first thing I told myself is, Tunji, just stop.
Yeah.
Stop first. Everything, all this, we will go with, let's not push, let's stop. So I stopped for a very long time and I just kind of reevaluated a lot of things. And, I was better for it, still being better for it. And I think that's one of the things young people need to understand. You find 24, 25-year-olds killing themselves about, oh, I've not made it. And I'm thinking to myself,
it's funny because I saw something that there's this guy called Gary V who was saying to a young boy, what do you know about entrepreneurship? Don't even think about it. Did your father put you to it? Say no. What do you want to do? Because we're teaching people that, I actually just tune off these things that be your own boss. You don't have to be working for somebody and he's making the money and I'm like, are you guys for real right now? Like, seriously? I am looking for work. I'm saying it openly on Because the Yoruba say something, Ogata.
The
money of the employee will complete.
What that means is whether the company sells or not, the employees must be paid. So if you've ever been in that position, you know what it means. You know what it means. Thank you, big sis. Inia Bimbola, CEO of Thistle Praxis. She's a business leader, management consultant, skills enhancement strategist, and published author. I was going to talk about the Eagles dance, but we've run out of time. But great to have you. We'll have you again on the show. I mean, want to talk about that time I failed. I want to extensively talk about that because I think we need to talk more about those issues. Be real about it, City of Lagos. This God did it needs to stop. All right, City of Lagos, I want to thank you for being with us on the show. It's been a great one. Look at your timepiece. We're going to be having SME Clinic right after this. Good news in the pipeline for entrepreneurs. I'll be sharing with you on that side of the show. It's 2 minutes after the hour of 10. Still a very young morning, City of Lagos. Do go out and be profitable.